Welcome to Litter Media Live for a Friday, the final Friday of June.
That's correct.
As we jump into July next week. I'm Dan Ramey. He's Mike Smith. Off to our immediate left, your right, is Mr. Hand 2, making a brief appearance. Did you see that?
I did.
Kind of shot in, then shot out off the screen.
Shot in and shot out.
Much like what he did before he
He's been shooting
started the show.
Morning,
The second camera needs unplugged and plugged back in again.
Is that right?
I tested it before the show and it wasn't working.
Okay.
But we're on the air anyway.
Yes.
Okay.
The first camera works. The second camera isn't right now.
Boy,
it just needs a reset.
We are out of luck if this one goes down.
That's right.
That might be a benefit for our viewers, though.
Just like the old radio days.
Yes. Good to have you with us on this Friday as we jump into the weekend. We want to inform you on what is going to be happening this weekend and things that are coming up in future days as well, all with our news and sports just ahead. But first, let's say about the forecast for the weekend.
For the weekend, kind of like what we've seen the last 2 days, some pop-up showers and thunderstorms. We did have a severe thunderstorm warning that came through Ross and Pickaway County about mid-afternoon yesterday. It dumped a lot of rain. I think we had a half inch of rain in just that storm that went through. Some other areas didn't hear any reports of any wind damage, but just very heavy rain. But that is going to be kind of the forecast for the weekend. Highs in the upper 80s, and I don't know, that's a little bit cooler than what we've had earlier in the week, but maybe a little rain to go along with it.
Yeah, I know a lot of farmers have been baling hay the last 2 weeks, and rain.
Weight's coming off.
Yeah. I saw the big giant bales being kicked out by the balers for straw as well as hay, so they've been busy. All right, coming up in a moment to look at news. But first, let's tell you about Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. They've been busy, too. Your trusted comfort advisor, because they've been enacted because if they find customers that are not satisfied with their conditions in their home or their business, they take care of that. Click on this ad anywhere you see it on our website, littermedia.com, and it takes you right to their website, which is accuratehvac.com.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
Introducing the Petland Litter Media Pet of the Week. We want to put your pet in the spotlight. Pets with paws to pets with fins. If they gallop, crawl, or slither, play fetch, or simply curl up and snuggle. Send us a photo of your pet and we'll announce a new pet each week. And one pet will be crowned Pet of the Year. To nominate your pet, visit littermedia.com. Click on Pet of the Week. Tell us about your pet and be sure to include a photo. Watch Litter Media Live each Thursday for the announcement of the Petland Litter Media Pet of the Week. No purchase necessary. Contest applications must be from Ohio residents and at least 18 years old.
Life. It can get on top of you quickly, can't it? But with 211, it only takes one step to get connected to the help you need. 211 is always available to help. So get in touch today.
Mark came to the Adena Orthopedic and Spine Institute in severe arm pain from a degenerative disc. Minimally invasive spinal surgery got him back to what matters most. At Adena, we do what we love, so you can too.
Hometown Motors Incorporated at 18 Eastern Avenue in Chillicothe. They continue with their spring sales event extended into the summer portion of the calendar. New riding tractors starting at $1699.99. New zero-turn mowers starting at $3399.99. New walk-behind starting at $399.99. New chainsaws starting at $279.99. New blowers starting at $199.99. New trimmers starting at $229.99. And 30-plus brand names that you'll find at Hometown Motors Incorporated. Hurry in to get the best selection. With prices like this, they won't last long. Hometown Motors, your store for the outdoors. Go to our website, and you'll be able to see some of the things we'll share with you today, but we don't have everything on our website. We use our social media for a lot of stuff, too. You can find all that contact information in the upper right-hand corner of littermedia.com.
There are some important updates to give you from the Ross County Community Resource Center. While CRC continues to be open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, the shelter is currently operating at a reduced capacity of 60 people each night for shelter services. You need to call ahead for availability, 702-7222. Now, the CRC is currently maintaining a wait list, and individuals and families will be contacted when beds are available. However, the day services remain open and will continue to be available for any individual seeking resources and supportive services, even if the shelter services are at capacity. And one of those services that's still open is the dinner that they serve nightly from 5 to 7 p.m.
The Eyes of Freedom are returning to the area. If you've never experienced this display, it is quite the display. It's an indoor display this time around at the Roberts Center Holiday Inn over in the Wilmington area. A flag-raising ceremony will be conducted by the USVMC of Washington Courthouse on July 1st at 6 p.m. Exhibit hours will be 4 to 8 p.m. June 30th, 10 to 8 on July 1st and 2nd, and 10 to 2 on July 3rd. Of course, we've done a number of features with the Eyes of Freedom, and if you know nothing about it, there were a Marine Corps out of the Lima Company, and one of them included Aaron Reed from Southeastern High School, and I'm trying to think when they first came out with the Eyes of Freedom. I want to say it was like maybe 2013, thereabouts. But if you go back in our YouTube channel, just search Eyes of Freedom, and it will bring up a lot of the features we've shared with you. They were most recently here last year for the 100th anniversary of the VA Medical Center, and they've added several features to the Eyes of Freedom. So you want to make sure you stop over to Wilmington sometime next week and check it out.
Step back into time, Independence Day weekend, as the Ross County Heritage Center and the Ross County Historical Society presents A Visit from George Washington. This program will take place July 5th at 6:30 p.m. at 45 West 5th Street in Chillicothe. Nationally acclaimed presidential reenactor Kurt Radeball will bring history to life as he portrays George Washington, sharing stories from his early days as a young officer in the Ohio country during the 7 Years' War, his rise through the ranks of the Continental Army during the American Revolution, and of course, time serving as the nation's first president.
Ask him to smile so you can check his teeth, just to make sure that they're wooden teeth.
Yes. Bring your file with you.
Yes, Pickaway County Soil Water Conservation District's first statewide Envirothon training for teachers was a huge success. This was a 2-day training with professionals presenting from across the state. A special shout out to the Pickaway County Park District for hosting this event on day 2. We've done a number of events like this with the Ross County SWCD, and congratulations to the folks up in Pickaway County for putting this statewide event on.
State agencies are urging Ohioans to use extreme caution as they celebrate the July 4th holiday. Since 2022, the Ohio Fire Code has permitted the use of 1.4G consumer-grade fireworks on certain dates, including July 3rd through 5th from 4 to 11 p.m., unless prohibited by local ordinances. We hear from Paul Martin of the State Fire Marshal's Office.
So obviously we want to make sure that you're using legal fireworks, something that actually comes from a reputable dealer, not something that's homemade or otherwise altered. We also want to make sure that we're using a safe distance. So if you're going to set them off anywhere, you want to make sure that you have a good safe distance around with no buildings, no trees, shrubs, anything that could catch on fire, as well as a safe viewing distance for anybody that would happen to be there.
Again, while state law allows you to set off that grade of fireworks that we mentioned, it's possible that in certain communities, local ordinance may prohibit it. So the best thing to do is check with your local city councils or commissioners to see if that is the case.
You ever seen a firework go off underneath the trees and then get stuck in the tree? It's scary if you've not experienced something like that. So yes, adhere to all the safeties, precautions for you there. All right. Many remember Dr. Ater, and he was a great child advocate. And of course, they have a golf tournament in his name. The Garden Family Advocacy Center will conduct that annual golf tournament on August 16th at the JC Golf Course. Proceeds will benefit the Advocacy Center, which we have visited with on a regular basis in April. They talk about bringing awareness to child abuse, and they report you saw the pinwheels and everything. This is the Garden Family Advocacy Center that we're speaking of.
Road report talking about a landslide over in Vinton County, and due to that repair work, there are temporary signals on State Route 278 for closings in Vinton County between Cabin Ridge Road and Long Ridge Road, and that project continues through August the 29th.
Coming up in a moment to look at sports, we will name our Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Litter Media Player of the Week, presented by Homeland Credit Union. Had to get all that in my brain before it came to my lips there. And we also remember a friend who we lost yesterday. Details coming up in sports. But first, Scioto Valley Dumpsters, 740-253-8389 is a number you need to have on speed dial. If you need a dumpster, they can take care of that for your business or your residence. Scioto Valley Dumpsters, 740-253-8389.
The Bean Foundation wants to raise awareness about suicide prevention by sharing 988. Trained crisis counselors are available to talk 24/7, 365 days a year. 988. Save the number. Save a life. To learn more about the Bean Foundation, click on this ad on littermedia.com.
Discover Ross County. From the breathtaking outdoor adventures to the historic sights of Chillicothe and family-friendly events and festivals. Explore more at visitchillicotheohio.com or download the free mobile app today.
Find a career you love with Pickaway Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
Each week, we'll announce the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Litter Media Player of the Week, presented by Homeland Credit Union. And in December, we'll announce the Player of the Year. Nominate any amateur athlete by visiting littermedia.com and click on Player of the Week. You'll also see the players we've named throughout the year. Make your nomination today for the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Litter Media Player of the Week, presented by Homeland Credit Union. And again, we'll announce that player coming up shortly. But first, I want to tell you about Fred Gibson. We lost Fred yesterday, a long-time Athens High School baseball and basketball coach. Fred passed away around 4:30 yesterday afternoon. He was a 1964 graduate of Athens High School, played both sports at Ohio University. He coached basketball for 18 seasons, 23 seasons as the head baseball coach. His overall record, 542 and 370. Gibby was named Coach of the Year several times, won multiple SEOAL and TVC championships, including 4 baseball district titles. He also coached the 14 to 15-year-old Athens team to a World Series championship in 1987 and a team that won the American Legion State Baseball Championship in 1990. Arrangements are pending. There you see, back in 2022, Athens High School named the road between the school and the baseball field after Coach Gibb. Gibby Way.
Yes, sir. Tony Williams is the new athletic director at Amanda-Clearcreek High School. Now, a lot of folks throughout the Southeast District are aware of Tony and his work on the Southeast District Board and SOC. So, Tony, moving up into the Central District now with the Aces. Congratulations on the new job.
The Bengals' home is Paycor Stadium, a.k.a. Paul Brown Stadium, and they have reached an agreement. This was something that they went through negotiations for probably 6-7 months, maybe almost a year. But the Bengals have pounded out an agreement with Hamilton County to remain at Paycor Stadium. The alternative would be pack it up and head somewhere else. And we have all experienced that with some of our favorite teams. But this is for the next 10 years. So they'll be doing some renovations to this stadium. Not sure what they're going to do because they haven't released plans, but they'll be making some announcements in the coming weeks, probably closer to football season beginning.
The Ohio High School Athletic Association announcing yesterday that the boys and girls state tennis tournaments are moving back to the Lindner Center in Mason, Ohio. The reason they moved out to Worcester College, or the College of Worcester, the last few years is because of renovations that were going on at the center in the off season of the pro schedule. You might remember they have that ATP championship. So when that wasn't going on, they were renovating the stadium, and that's been going for the last couple of years. But the girls will return there this fall for the state tournament at Lindner, and then the boys, of course, next spring.
Our Chillicothe Paints have hit a rough patch, and they have lost 5 straight, falling to the Hoots last night in O'Fallon, Missouri, 5-0. It's on to Terre Haute now to see if they can snap that 5 games losing skid. Paints will return to VA Memorial Stadium Sunday for Kids Day. Kids 12 and under get into the game for free.
Guardians blanked by the Blue Jays last night by a score of 6-0, so Toronto takes that series. The Guardians will host the St. Louis Cardinals to start their weekend set tonight. The Reds were off last night. They open a set at home this evening, against the Padres of San Diego.
And I think we mentioned this yesterday. Saturday's game is like a 4 o'clock start, and they'll be recognizing the surviving members of the Big Red Machines. So you want to make sure you check. If you watch the Reds, their pregame is usually a half hour long. They're extending it to an hour long because of that. So check them out about 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
Reds have had a hard time beating the Padres in recent years. So hopefully they're on a hot streak right now. Let's see if they can keep it going.
You bet. Our Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Litter Media Player of the Week, presented by Homeland Credit Union, is Landon Ater. Landon was at the OHSAA State Track and Field meet where he successfully defended his state title in the 3,200-meter run, and he won the 1,600-meter run, in which he finished 3rd in 2024. Thanks to our buddy Stephen Forsha over at the Highland County Press for providing this victorious picture of Landon Ater. He's like, hey, I did it again. Congratulations. But he did it slower than last year. Last year, I think he was 9:10, if I'm not mistaken. So 9:13 is what it says there. To nominate a player, simply email littermedia@gmail. Make sure you tell us about the player, why you think they should be the player of the week. If you got a photo, feel free to share that too. And you can see all the players of the week when you go to our website, littermedia.com, and click on Players of the Week.
And, you know, while most of the time we focused on high school and college, if you've got somebody that's playing Little League baseball this summer or Little League softball,
swim team,
yeah, fire that on over here to us.
Mm-hmm. Now, if it's a backyard wiffle ball game,
yeah,
we'll take that too.
Nominate me for my years ago prowess in wiffle ball.
Well, did you ever play professionally in the wiffle ball era?
Can say that no, I did not. No. Just in the backyard with my cousins.
Have you watched some of the pro wiffle ball games?
I have indeed.
Isn't that incredible? I mean, the spin they put on the ball, it's amazing. It really is. All right, coming up, this date in history we harken back to.
Not all that many years ago, 1985, but saying goodbye to a famous highway.
Details, it's not Highway to Hell.
No.
Not that.
Well, for some it might have been. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Details coming up.
But first, we want to talk about our good friends at Litter Quality Propane. Online propane monitoring and reporting. Know your home's consumption and gas remaining in the tank. Find out more at litterpropane.com.
Whenever I first applied for the Archways opportunity, oh, do I have to pay this back? Do I have to do that? Like, is it a loan? And it's not. It's a scholarship. A goal of mine is to graduate college debt-free. If you're a crew member, you get $2,500 a year, and if you're a manager, you get $3,000. And especially if you're going locally to college, like to the branch or something like that, it's really helpful.
Tecumseh. Fascinating. Captivating. Mesmerizing. Tecumseh.
Wherever you are, you're there for a reason. You shouldn't have to make a trip to the branch just to deposit a check. Skip the trip and use our mobile app to easily and securely deposit checks from your phone. Day or night, wherever you are, or whatever you're doing, download the Kingston National Bank Mobility app today.
Now that's one fast mower. Take command of your lawn with Dixie Chopper, the world's fastest lawnmower.
Time to look back. This date in history.
On this date in 1985, the iconic Route 66 is decertified as a road when the American Association of State Highway and Transportation Officials vote to remove all its highway signs. Route 66 stretched from Chicago to Santa Monica, California, passing through 8 states. And there it is from our crack studio artist, Dan Ramey, the Route 66 sign.
Crack.
He's that means good. He's a cracker jack kind of guy.
You're just digging deeper down in that hole,
but
aren't you?
You do. It's almost like a caricature type art. Can you draw a picture of Aaron and I?
I could.
See, you could have done the Dan and Mike logo artwork.
I could have. I did. This would have been back late 1980s. I drew caricatures of Chip Arledge, myself, and Dave Smith. Mm-hmm. And we had a T-shirt that was called the Waking Crew because we were the morning team back in those days. And the likeness of Chip Arledge was scary. It really was.
The rotund one. Yeah.
Yes.
Who's not so rotund anymore.
Yeah.
Last time we saw him in Chillicothe, it's like you almost had to introduce me to it.
Yeah.
And I went to school with Chip.
Yeah. I think he's gained some of the weight back. I don't know that for sure, but it seems like last I saw he was working in Texas, or maybe Oklahoma, and I thought he might have put a few of the pounds.
Was he actually there, though?
Yes.
Okay, because he was doing some shows in other states.
This was a Facebook video of him driving the radio station vehicle through a parade.
Gotcha.
So,
all righty.
Got to defend the things that you see, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's it for the program for not only today, but for this week. We're back at it again next week. I can't recall if we have some. We do have, I know of one special edition that will be with Matt Day.
July 2nd.
And so that's coming up next week. So we may be able to track some other people down to talk to as well.
Representative Brian Stewart, maybe he could return a message to me. Maybe we could.
That would be nice. Yeah. Well, he's a busy guy.
He just had a state budget he had to pass. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's probably sleeping.
If you didn't get a chance to see Representative Stewart's comments, he gave the closing argument, so to speak, in favor of the state budget. So if you go to his X account, Brian Stewart, it lasts about 9 minutes, but it's really interesting. Very interesting, very informational.
You can probably also find it on the Ohio channel.
Yeah, and he gets a few jabs in too. So you can check that out there.
as only a coach's son who went to the military could do it. So, all right. All right, that's it for the program today. Thank you again for watching. Enjoy your weekend, and do your best to be back with us again Monday with another edition of Litter Media Live.